so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life? Well, that's another, which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. All right, all you positive heads, on this week's Powwow episode, I'm a little bit more excited than normal, if you can imagine that. You guys know how excitable I am by default, and the reason being is because I have a true wellness pioneer here with me on the show, David Sandoval. Dave is a whole foods nutrition advocate, wellness expert, disease prevention activist, best-selling author of the Green Foods Bible, and innovator behind Purium, the rapidly rising collective of health-conscious souls whose mission is to end human suffering and restore harmony with nature. Yeah, that's all. No big deal. Hey, David, welcome to the show, my friend.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's quite the introduction. Thank you so much. It's great to be with you, Brandon. And looking forward to having an awesome, stimulating conversation today.
Absolutely. You know, I was first introduced to your work and everything, Purium and all, everything that you do through my dear friend, Emma Rose. And she was actually on the show a while back, healer, mystic, just a beautiful, beautiful butterfly, if you will. And if any of you guys, by the way, if you want to check that out, episode 464. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, Dave. And what I'd like to do is just start at my very predictable intro question. And that is, you're in an elevator. The woman next to you looks over, says, "What's your passion?" What do you say?
Wow. So if someone asks me what my passion is, I'm always a little bit afraid to share it with them because no one believes me. But my passion is to end human suffering. I, as an empath, anytime I see an animal, a human, suffering, then I sort of feel their pain. And I would like for all of that to be gone, as impossible as that might seem to some people. That's my goal.
Wow. Yeah. As soon as I asked the question, I just realized for the first time I've pretty much said it in the introduction with your mission statement of your company. And we're going to dig into that a little bit. Why don't we start at the beginning, your beginning, and give us a little bit of your
I can rephrase it. I can rephrase it in a way.
And I think
that my goal is to have everybody answer every question with one perspective in mind. And that is, what would love do? So if you're in any decision-making process and you're wondering, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go up? Do I go down? Ask yourself, what direction would love go? And it's amazing how clear it becomes, because so many of the thoughts we have are not driven by love.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're driven by jealousy, fear, anger, our past, PTSD of whatever trauma we experienced in our life. And that is what drives our decisions. And my goal is to change people's mindset, to change the vibration of their heart, of their body, of their cells, so that when they make decisions, they're making decisions based on the only thing that matters, and that's love.
Oh, gosh, I love that so much. Speaking of love, actually, my favorite quote, like if you go on social media or, sometimes in emails, I'll sign it. It's sort of a modification from what John Lennon said. Love is the answer. Now, what was the question? And the guys have heard it all the time on the show, and I just love it. I'm so with you, Dave.
Say it again. He said, so John Lennon was asked, he said, love is the answer. Now, what was the question?
Yeah. He said, love's the answer. I think his is love is the answer. What's the question? And I've kind of taken it and modified it. I write it out as love is the answer, ... and then now in capital letters. So love is the answer. Now, what was the question? So you've got the double meaning of now and now what was the question? Yeah. It's beautiful, right?
Because it's so always the answer. Yeah.
It's always the answer. It's so simple, yet so difficult based off of what we've been conditioned to go down all these other rabbit holes of fear and jealousy and anger and doubt and, pain and suffering. And, but as soon as you start getting accustomed to reframing and retraining yourself to go there, it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier. And of course, your life then starts reflecting loving decisions, right?
Yeah. And like people move toward love and they move away from the other thing. And if you find the people who are important in your life moving away from you, you might want to ask yourself, what love vibration are you putting off?
Ah, right. That's a great point. Yeah, it's something that I've been talking about a lot on the show lately is, when you're coming from true perspective of oneness, that is, whoever you're interacting with is an extension of self, and you're always looking at them as a prop in some way, some extension of you in your own private movie, if you will. Then you're saying, well, what am I, how am I, creating them to show up in this way? What does this tell me about myself? And it gets pretty powerful when you start, observing everyone as, an extension of self. There are no others. Everywhere you go, you're there waiting for yourself. And once you start playing with this notion, yeah, exactly. Well, Dave, we dove in the deep end quickly. Let's back up. Let's rewind.
We went into the deep end of the pool, man.
I've been known to do it. The listeners are not putting on their surprise face, I assure you. And, Let's back up a little bit. Well, I'd love to hear your story. As I've had a lot of folks on lately who, are empaths and had challenges as a child and everything. So how did you end up on this unique trajectory and path that you're on?
There's a thing that says, that which doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Yeah.
And it isn't always true. If you get a broken leg, your leg isn't going to be stronger after it heals. It isn't like that. What that philosophy refers to is that the wisdom that comes from the trials of life are what allow you to survive and to thrive later in life. And so without the struggle of the butterfly, you all know the story of the person who's watching the butterfly struggle to get out of its cocoon, and it's pushing and pushing and struggling. And so the person says, I want to help the butterfly to fly. I'm empathetic to its struggle. So I want to take away its struggle. You don't take away the struggle. You take away the pain. You understand the struggle's necessary. And so it was only through the fact that, Creator gave me so many amazing lessons early in life to make me strong, to make me the person I am today. And so what I used to look at as, when I was younger, I used to look at things that were done to me, that I was a victim, of poor parents who were immigrants, of a alcoholic father, I guess, betting obsessed mother, of, a culture clash of Eastern Europe and Spanish all coming to America at the same time. And, being homeless at a young age and, having to live under trees and eat out of trash cans and having been abused and beaten and, sexually molested as a child. I thought all of these things were things that were going to make for a terrible life.
Wow.
They were going to, and instead they became the fuel, and they became the points of reference that allowed me to make such different decisions and to realize that if I could go through that, then nothing could ever hurt me again. And so what could I possibly be afraid of? So what could I fear? So I could go forward with absolute confidence that no one could hurt me, because everyone who's tried failed.
Right.
And so the strength that comes from surviving is so powerful. And to have never struggled, to me, is a shame. I feel sorry for those who never struggle, because they're never going to realize what it takes to overcome those struggles, and the glory and the power that you then could lend to others, that you could help others because of that strength that was given to you. And so I know there's a reason, and that reason was so I could be there in a way that other people may never be able to be there, because of what I've been through. So if you have been through it, you know what I'm talking about. And that's what it means by that. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, you know? So I'd say that's what made me who I am today.
Wow. Yeah. You know, it's so synchronistic and beautiful. You instantly, the butterflies come up a few times now, because that is exactly what we talk about with Ema Rose on episode 464. You know, I originally met Ema because she was doing an Imaginal Awakening at Lucidity Festival a few years ago, and I happened to get in line at a vendor behind her. We got talking. I came to her talk and did this whole, you know, Imaginal Cell Awakening, which, you know, if you guys don't know, the Imaginal cells are what come online in the butterfly. If you go listen to episode 464, you'll hear all about it. And actually, she steps us through a Imaginal Cell Awakening meditation. And anyway, yeah, it's you said it best. I mean, it's like those struggles either make you bitter or make you better, right? You use them as fuel, or you use them, or that you let them destroy you. And when you start understanding that, you know, all your challenges are blessings in disguise, and you're blessed that you figured that out. And because of that, you now are creating so much healing in the world. And, you know, it's such a powerful story. It makes it, you know, that much more poignant and powerful. And so I you know, the main thing we're going to go down the rabbit hole of today, guys, is health, wellness. This is really Dave's you know, this is Dave's, what he's championing into the world, helping people to end suffering by understanding, you know, health. And, you know, this is something, of course, we touch on regularly. I always say this show is all about, you know, maintaining and elevating your vibration, you know, your heart, your mind. And Dave's, you know, number one, you know, path that he is pursuing at this time in his life is helping people to heal their bodies. And so, you know, maybe it'd be a good time to tell us a little bit about Purium and you know, why and why you're doing what you're doing, and what you're, you know, what the ultimate reason is. Like, you know, for example, we talked a little bit about the secret lives of plants and why that is such a you know, the vibration of the spirit that enables, you know, all the healing, you know, in our bodies. So yeah, why don't you go down that rabbit hole a little bit for us?
Okay. Well, everybody who is in the, I guess, Western hemisphere right now could look up at and see the sun, or whatever it is. You know, we could go up and look at the sun, and if you can't, maybe you could see the moon, which is reflecting the sun. But wherever you're listening at whatever time, your life is only possible because of that sun. And since the beginning of life on this planet, everything that grows has grown pretty much exclusively because of that sun, with the exception of anaerobic material. It also relies upon oxygen. And so sunlight and oxygen are primary providers of life on Earth. And in so, we have to understand that the sun has a billion different bands of light. They have light that we can see with our eyes. Yeah, light that we can see with our eyes is white, but plants see different colors, and every plant sees a different band of light from the sun, and every plant has an energy that is interpreting energy from the sun. And our human form is going to need to get the energy from the sun, but we're only able to get one band ourselves. Vitamin D, as you know, is the one thing that we could produce from the sun. We have chloroplasts that could do some other small energy producing factors from the sun as well. Sun gazers know that. But mostly it's vitamin D is our specialty. Well, every plant has a specialty, something that they can create because of their ability to absorb their band of sunlight. And so this harmony, this vibration, the sun is the ultimate conductor, and it is giving off instructions to the plants. And you've got every violin is different. No two violins sound the same, even though they're violins, because they're each made by hand.
Right.
And so each plant grows in a different environment at a different elevation with different temperatures, with different soil, different sunrise and sunsets and nighttime temperatures and frosts and rocks in the soil or sand in the soil or bugs in the soil or things that eat them. And every stress that plant comes under imparts some strength to it as well. You understand? Mm-hmm. And so I study something called phytochemistry. And phytochemistry is the desire to understand how each and every plant vibrates and how that vibration is attenuated to the human instrument. And if we were a 12-string Spanish guitar, we would be nothing like the human body. If we had whatever it is, 182 keys on a piano, I don't even remember, I'm guessing, it would be nothing. Was I close?
I think you are close. It's something I've heard it before. I think I'll look it up.
Okay. So, but we would be nothing compared to the human body, because the human body has the ability to vibrate at every vibration that plants do, so long as we know what plants to take in.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, there's some really other vibrations in the earth. And we know through emotions, we could take in negative emotions, and those negative vibrations could bring our world down. And we could bring in positive vibrations. Psychoneuro, immunology shows us that our thoughts could dramatically impact our health. And
right.
So these plants and their vibrations are our bodies waiting for them. And we have receptor sites at the cellular level that are waiting for these plants to come in and to do their job, to play their music. And when done properly, living the human form can be the most ecstatic, can be the most wonderful, joyful, amazing experience. It can literally be heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Because we know not what's going to happen when we die, but we know one thing as we're dying, that our entire life will flash before our eyes. And when it does, we are going to see every moment and every choice that we made. And life is nothing more than a series of choices, of decisions that we make. And when we make a decision to go toward love, then we find ecstasy. When we make a decision to go toward anger and hatred and bitterness and jealousy and fear, then we do not vibrate and we do not experience heaven. And so at the end of our lifetime, we're not only going to see the result of our decisions, we're going to see the time we made our decision, and we're going to know that consciously we chose hell.
Right.
Why would we do that? Why would we do that? And then we're going to see when we consciously chose heaven, and all of the times that we chose heaven added together is going to be our ultimate, reckoning. And all the times that we could have experienced joy, but we didn't, is going to be our hell. We're going to see everything we could have had, but we left behind. And to me, that's going to be our hell. So I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know about reincarnation. I don't know about heaven. I don't know about those things because I just can't know yet. But what I know is right here, right now, we have this opportunity and we're freaking blowing it.
Wow.
We're freaking blowing it.
So wow, that's so powerful. What do you do to get on course for those who are off course? When you say you're blowing it, can you expand on, you're talking as a whole, the planet?
I'm talking about people who don't know who they are. And so we have this thing, I forget, was it Shakespeare who said, "To thine own self be true"?
Yeah.
It might not have been. It might have been another philosopher. I just like Shakespeare.
It was, and it was 88 keys on a piano, so we were about 100 off, but that's okay.
I was only 100 off on my keys on the piano, so 188, 88. Same difference.
You're an optimist. You're obviously an optimist.
Exactly. I want a big piano. I want a double-decker piano. The 12-string guitar of pianos. I want one of those. But anyway,
exactly.
What we were just saying is that we say to thine own self be true. Okay. Now, if you have to be true to yourself and you don't know who you are, then how could your life ever be what it's capable of being?
Right.
And so the first lesson I teach people in this thing called appreciation of life is find out who you are and then be true to that person. And when you start being true to that person, oh my God, it's amazing. And so I teach something called the 5-5-5. As you know, in numerology, 5-5-5 is when everything changes for the better. It will never be the same. Right. So I have this 5-5-5 activation of the laws of attraction so that you can begin to find out who you are and to begin to realize your greatest potential, realize the fact that you're limitless, realize the fact that you are entitled to and you are welcome to and you are deserving of ecstasy.
Yeah.
And most people don't believe they're deserving of it, and they turn their backs on it every day when it's sitting waiting for them. But in Ayurvedic medicine, it says, when you keep up, you will be kept up. You don't get kept up just because you were born. You get kept up because you want it.
Right. Right. Wow. Very, very well said. Powerfully said. And of course, one of the things that I feel people are really missing the mark on is their physical health and wellness, right? And obviously, we've done a lot of work on this show, and especially the listeners know, retraining. I call it spiritual alchemy, the art of sifting and shifting perspectives until love emerges. Getting your mind in that framework of how do I reframe what's happening to find, asking the question, why is this happening for me, not to me, right? And we've done a lot of work in that way. And a lot of your work, of course, has been focused on the physical side of things, obviously both from your very powerful delivery there. But just looking, it's funny because leading up to this conversation, it popped up a few times for me. MSN.com, I just happened to see an article pop up yesterday or the day before. U.S. obesity has doubled since the 80s. 35% carry extra weight. That's over a third. And those considered obese in the U.S. Live 14 years shorter, of course, causing cancer, stroke, heart disease. So how can we really get into this? If you're really being love, right? Living in love, as we talked about, you think instantly of, well, your body is your temple. You're right. We don't know what's coming next, but we know we're here now in this vehicle that I've got. If I'm not showing it proper love and the vibration is being lowered by a lot of very processed foods and low vibration things, it's you can't really progress into the butterfly, the next greatest and grandest version of yourself. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And people have no idea how the vibration of their cells is tied to the vibration of their spirit and their mind. Body, mind, and spirit. They say body first for a reason. They don't say spirit, mind, and body. They say body, mind, and spirit. When your cells are going to vibrate, they're going to lead you to having higher level thoughts. It's going to lead you to having higher level consciousness, higher level love, higher level everything. And so what I have done is I have gone through and I've studied with the greatest minds in naturopathy in the United States, the Ann Wigmores, the Bernard Jensens, Hannah Kroger, Paul Bragg, Dr. Christopher. I've gone and studied 12 ancient cultures, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, the shaman of North America, the Jamu from Indonesia, the Ashanikas from South America, the Swiss healing arts, on and on, 12 ancient cultures. And I've seen the wisdom of the ancients. I have felt the energy of naturopathy, and I have studied in depth the science of modern, understanding of phytochemistry. And what I could tell you is that one, that I am recognized, and this is not bragging, but I'm recognized as somebody who has a high level of understanding of these things internationally. And I have dedicated my entire life to connecting people to the quality of and the access to these ancient secrets and this modern science. And it's my passion to do so. And this problem of obesity, we are the most overfed and undernourished society in the history of this planet. Yeah. And as a result of that, people are suffering at greater levels than they've ever suffered. And if we realize that our health is like 101st in the world, like there's 99 countries that have higher levels of health than the United States, we're a third world country when it comes to health, people.
Wow.
We are a third world country when it comes to health. And we think we are so advanced.
Right. Yeah, and it's like we're getting back to our roots. I think it was Hippocrates, who's considered the father of modern medicine, if I recall, said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food." And we've gotten, all the Western. How do we treat the symptom? How do we treat the effect and not the cause? And of course, you've got this. The pharmaceutical industry is this massive behemoth that is really not designed to get you healthy as much as to keep you buying the drugs, right? And so it seems like we're having a renaissance. We're coming back to that. The light bulbs are going on, and thanks to people, the internet, and people educating themselves, and it's like we're coming back to what Hippocrates. I think he was like, I don't know, I'd have to look it up, but like 1000 BC or something. Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. And here we go. We're just getting back to the beginning, right?
Now, in Chinese medicine, which has been practiced for over 5,000 years in written form, and obviously before it was written, it had to be practiced as well, correct? And so in Chinese philosophy, they say any cure that has a side effect is not the proper cure. Any medicine, that has a side effect is not the proper cure. And as we listen to the commercials for, we hear them saying that, that the side effects are, you take a pill for restless leg syndrome and you could have suicidal thoughts. Like you could have, your eyes could bleed. I mean, seriously? I mean,
I know.
Also
I know.
that you don't
give me your restless legs, please.
I'll take your restless leg syndrome and two of the side effects, and I'm not joking. This is not a joke. Two of the side effects for the medicine for restless leg syndrome are uncontrollable urges for gambling and sex. I'm telling you, this thing was this, and people are like, give me some, but this stuff was created by Vegas, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So, but all of a sudden you take this drug and you feel like playing strip poker with the neighbors. I mean, it makes no sense at all. And so this is what we call medicine, you guys. We're laughing. And the reason I wanted to laugh is because we should be crying.
Yeah.
That each pharmaceutical
laugh to keep from crying sometimes.
Each pharmaceutical drug has the side effect of putting on 10 to 15 pounds of weight. And most people are on 2 to 3 medications that are 30 to 40 pounds overweight. And that's causing morbid obesity. And they think it's, and they don't know what to do. And so what I want to do is I want to segue, if you could, into a solution, because I'm more geared about solutions, and we could talk about problems all day long. And honestly, people who talk about problems and are not ready to go into solution mode, I have very little time for, because I have something called the rule of 49s. And the rule of 49 says, I am standing by ready to help the world. I want to end human suffering. But if you are not ready to stop suffering, I'm not ready for you yet. I don't have the energy. I can't have the time. But when people are ready, I want to make sure that when they make that decision, that that's a good decision, that they have the proper guidance, that they have the maximum success, and they are suddenly vibrating at that higher level, living that greater lifestyle, having that ecstatic life that I want for everybody. And that happens first by detoxifying the negative energies from your body. It's like negative emotions. We have food that is not loving our body. And if food isn't loving your body, it's not allowed in. And we have food that's ready to love your body, that's ready to love your body the way it needs to be loved, the way it's always wanted to be loved. And it's just waiting for you. And the problem is that in the last 100 years, and this is a very serious thing, in the last 100 years, 100% of our food was compromised. 100 years ago, there were no additives, no sweeteners, no fillers, no binders, no preservatives, no chemical pesticides, no chemical herbicides, no chemical fertilizers. There was no irradiation of food, no homogenization of food. There was no red dye number 5, no trans fats, no, partially hydrogenated oils. There was no, am I making my point? There are
yes.
There are more chemical additives approved to be put in food than there are foods that are sold on the planet. 10,000 edible species of plants. And we typically consume about half of those within the world. Half of them are never consumed. And we have 5 times that worth of chemicals that are approved to be put into those foods, to modify those foods, to virtually destroy those foods. And so in the last 100 years, our food has become so compromised that our ability to gain the proper nutrition we need from it has been almost destroyed.
Right.
And my whole purpose was to show people, to restore normalcy to the cellular vibration that over the last 100 years has been getting lower and lower and lower, like a candle that is, burning down to the end. And so we've come up with something that is really rather amazing, because 300,000 people have now done this program worldwide. Now, it might be 150,000 that have done it twice, or 100,000 that have done it 3 times.
Yeah.
But we have sold over 300,000 of these transformations.
Wow.
And the results have been nothing short of miraculous. And I couldn't even begin to tell you, the stories, but I could tell you this, that every person who takes it has a story, whether it be arthritis, whether it be, chronic pain, whether it be, indigestion, whether it be, anxiety or fear, or whether it be obesity, high blood pressure, whether it was diabetes, whether it was, we're not curing disease. We're normalizing the human body. And when you normalize the human body, incredible things can happen. And so there's not anybody, not one person who hasn't gone through this transformational food program that has not, been dramatically impacted by it in the most positive way. And, sometimes I can't even believe how much people are suffering until they tell me what it feels like to not be suffering anymore, because most people won't even admit how much they're hurting. They won't admit how much their quality of life has been diminished, because they have accepted it. They've accepted it as the new normal. And I really want to encourage people to take one moment and ask yourself, is there something in your life that you would like to run better? Would you want to lose some weight? Do you want more energy? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want to stop having gastric reflux? Do you want to have a better sex life? Do you want your skin to be rid of acne? Do you want to stop relying upon drugs? Do you want to stop relying upon stimulants? Do you want to stop, getting through the day, barely getting through the day, feeling depressed and feeling, overwhelmed? And are you really ready to step into the greatest potential of your life? Are you ready to make better decisions? Are you ready to have better outcomes? Because when you are ready, then we have the tools. We have the tools to help you with chronic pain, chronic depression, chronic obesity. We have the tools to help you with chronic conditions that affect your blood glucose, that affect your blood pressure, your heart. All of that can be dramatically improved when you begin to make better decisions in the food realm. And so I'd really like to get deep dive into what do people do and how aware are they that every single thing, every decision they make about what they put into their mouth is going to ultimately end up being the quality of life they live. And to put it succinctly, the quality of the food you eat will equal the quality of the life you live. And when you're ready, we could jump right into that.
Yes, absolutely. I think, it is not just a cliche statement. You are what you eat. And on not even, physical, spiritual, vibrational, you're sending a beacon to, the universe. Here's who I am. Here's what I am. I love myself of this much. And here's the great thing. I think about it, Dave, and and we'll talk about this in a minute, but, even I've made a transformation in my own life in what I eat over the last, let's say, decade or so. And it's been healthier. And I'm not 110% where I want to be, although I'm about to be, as we'll chat about here towards the end. But it's something where, it's once you start understanding, you're really ready to become the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. You can't avoid this topic, right? You can't avoid addressing what it is that you are putting into your system. And, of course, our cells, what are they? Every 7 years, you're a completely new body. I think it's every 7 years. You're literally recreating yourself anew, constantly. And, with you guys, with what you do, and, I'd love for you to deep dive into a little bit about the process of the products. And, you have some, you're doing some very unique things, testing things at the molecular level. Maybe now would be a good time to dive into that.
Oh, absolutely. But remember that everything is connected to how does that make you feel? If you go to the psychologist, which I don't know whether that's a good or bad idea, it's not my decision. But if you go there, they ask you a whole bunch of questions and then they ask you, how did that make you feel? And the question is, how does your food make you feel?
Yeah.
Literally, how does your food make you feel? And so we want people to feel powerful. We want people to feel energized. We want people to feel sexy. We want people to look in the mirror and see bright eyes, bright, clear skin, bright eyes, and we have products like in this transformation that are clinically proven to tighten up your skin. We helped a guy lose 300 pounds in 5 months. And at the end of that time, his skin was so tight. It was so tight. Wow. And when he started losing weight, it was actually very loose. And people were like, how is it that you reduced his waist size by 80 inches and he has less skin now? Wow. And it's because of the power. It's the power of these products.
Wow. And so hold on. So he didn't have like the giant extra skin that you normally see.
He did not.
From people who lose that, because I've seen it many times where people maybe they staple their gut or whatever, but then they have tons of skin that even has to be cut off. Wow,
that's right.
Really?
And you know how much it costs to have a surgery and how painful it is to have that surgery. And you know what? So that's right. And so when I'm talking about these products, I'm not talking about, I love to talk about the science. My God, I could go deep dive into the science, but what really matters? How does that make you feel? You know what I mean? All those questions. How does it make you feel? And so we have this thing we call Core 4. And, it's so simple because we say, if we can help you just do 4 things a day, imagine I could give you 4 things to do a day that you could do in less than 5 minutes that costs you probably $5 to $10 a day, which is your labor of 20 minutes a day, right? And what you earn in 20 minutes to a half an hour a day maximum, you are going to transform your life forever. That's incredible. Yeah. And it only takes
almost sounds too good to be true, right? It's like, it's that easy?
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's a reason why. And the reason why is that how does it make you feel? So right now, most people are suffering on so many levels, they don't even know it.
Yeah.
They have indigestion. They're constipated. They're gassy. They have body aches and pains. They have joint pain. You know, they have ED. A lot of women don't have any sex drive at all. They don't feel sexy when they look in the mirror, so they don't have confidence. And so what I restore in people is unbelievable. They think that they're just going to detox and lose a little weight, and I give them back their pride. So I need to tell you about something. We're going to digress for just a second, and then I want you to make sure that we deep dive into the products themselves. But I want to tell you about self-love. We need to get back there.
Okay.
Because this transformation is in perfect alignment with a decision that A, you love life. B, you love yourself. C, you want more out of life and yourself. And D, you're about to make the decisions that are going to make sure that you're going to get more life and more energy and more joy. But to be able to get, the most out of life is to make better decisions. And so let's get back to thine own self be true. I'm going to take you through this lesson super quick. Okay.
Yeah, we got time. So
So you ask yourself, you're never going to act in your own defense. You're never going to truly take care of yourself until you love yourself. We all know that.
Yep.
Without that self-love, there's not self-care. Can we agree to that? Right?
Absolutely.
There might be self-care for ego. I want to look better in a bikini. I want to attract somebody. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about self-care that comes from self-love. I'm talking about cleaning your house. I'm talking about trimming your nails. I'm talking about brushing your hair, dressing in the morning, taking the time to walk your dog, all that stuff that means that you're actually really into self-care. You love yourself. You're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your stuff. And that's really important to get into that space that you're going to take care of yourself. And so let's go through the lesson really quickly about finding out who you are. And so you can be true to that person of who you are. So I want everybody to activate the laws of attraction. So you could get a pen and I'm going to tell you what to do, but you cannot do it right now. It takes more time than this.
Okay.
You're going to make a list and you're going to write down 20 things that you really want in life, the things you desire. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't worry about judgment. The 20 things, and if you could have them right now, you would get them, right? Yep. The things that will make you happy. And I want you to think that when you were a little boy, you wanted them. And when you're an old man, you're going to want them. When you're a little girl, you wanted them. When you're an older woman, you're going to want them. These are eternal things that you want, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then narrow it down to 5. What are the 5 most important out of that 20? And you're going to find yourself taking 3 of them and finding a new word to describe that. And that'll be in your list of 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to take those 20 things. You're going to gotta compress them into 5. And when you do, you're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh my God, that is what I need in life. That's what I really want in life. You're going to have to think about it consciously and know what's truly important. And when you look at that list, if it's a fancy car, a big house, a wife with a hot body and a bunch of money, I feel so sorry for you.
Right.
Okay. So then you got to ask yourself, could you love that person? Who else would love that person? And start to do some self-work.
Right.
But I'm assuming that that's not going to happen. I'm assuming that when you take that list of 20 and narrow it down to 5, you're going to be thinking about far more important things than that.
Yeah.
So now let's take our next list. The next list is, if you had to spend 24 hours a day with somebody for the rest of your life, what qualities would you want them to have? Would they, just write 20 of them? You got to write the 20. And if you don't write the 20, work hard. If you only get to 15, make up 5.
Right.
Because you got to start with the big picture.
Yeah.
See everything that's possible and then narrow it down. And now this person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, what qualities are you going to want them to have? You're definitely not going to want them to be somebody who's quick to anger. You know what I mean? You're not going to want it to somebody who doesn't do their share of the work. You know what I mean? So think about that. Think about what you really want. And then here's the hardest part, though. Here is where the S hits the fan, baby. Now you need to write down the 20 qualities of people you don't like. The 20 things you would not want in a person you had to live 24/7 with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you're going to narrow it down to 5. And when you do, you're going to know, oh my God, there's people in my life who have these qualities. And that's why I'm not happy right now. This person pisses me off and I let him in my space every day. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that to myself? And you're going to know why we made these lists. And then you're going to see people that you've been pushing aside that have been wanting to be involved in your life, but you haven't let them, that have the qualities that you've been looking for. And you're going to go, thank you, great creator, for not letting them run away from me yet.
Yeah.
Because they should have. I've been a real jerk to them. And here's the craziest part. If you look at that every single morning, the actions that you take in your life are going to direct you. And those people are going to be coming out of the woodwork that have those qualities. You're going to be surrounded by them. Yeah. And those people that you don't need are going to just fade away. It's going to be like magic. And all of a sudden, great creator, for you being honest with yourself and actually telling great creator what it is you desire, it's going to start happening. Because when you're right with creator will be right with you, and anything you want, anything you desire is going to be presented to you, and you better be ready for it.
Yeah.
And so now that we know who we are, now that we know what we want, now that we know we want more out of life, I guarantee you we're going to want to vibrate with this food that I'm talking about. And so now you're going to have this responsibility. You're going to have this responsibility to get up every single day and know that you're going to do these 4 things. And I'm going to tell you what these 4 things are going to do for you. Okay.
Okay.
The first, most people do not get enough sleep, and the lack of quality sleep is a huge factor in depression, a huge factor in obesity, a huge factor in disease. I'm going to say that again. A lack of quality sleep is a huge factor in depression, a huge factor in obesity, and a huge factor in chronic disease. Because during these magical 2 hours in the middle of the night, our body gets all of the elves out and they fix everything. But they can only work when the body is completely asleep. Okay. Yeah. And these elves, what I'm talking about, are the healing energies that your body can only do, repairing things that your body can only do, fat burning things that your body can only do, cleansing things your body can only do when it's completely shut down. And it needs to be shut down completely for 2 hours. And if it's not, then the workers can't get in, do their job, and get out, and we suffer. And we have a product that is so powerful. It is virtually the single most potent fruit on the face of the earth. In Genesis 1:29, it says, I've given you the seed-bearing fruit of the vine, and these are to be your sustenance. I've given you the grasses of the field, and these are to be your sustenance. And so we give you the Tart cherry concentrate, the single most potent fruit, seed-bearing fruit in and on the planet. Wow. It naturally contains melatonin. It is the only plant that can contribute to your body's melatonin level. Remember, I told you that each plant has a special vibration, a special attenuation, a special job that they do. And the Tart cherry's job is to provide your body with a natural source of melatonin. It has a phenomenal free radical scavenging ability, 10,000 ORAC, 5,000 ORAC, depending upon how much you take each night, to scavenge all the free radicals and help you fight cancer. It's got tremendous what are called proanthocyanins, the most anti-inflammatory compounds found in fruit like blueberries. And then it's got the ellagic acid that's only found in pomegranates, but it has more than's found in pomegranates. It has the proanthocyanins found in blueberries, but there's more than it's in blueberries. It has all those free radical scavengers, all of the melatonin, and it's just an amazing food. And you just take an ounce a night. Wow. Just 1 ounce a night. Mix it in some water or just take it straight like I do. And it literally provides the deepest, most wonderful sleep. And you wake up and your face isn't swollen and you feel amazing. And so, again, it's for people who don't know, Tel Aviv University did a study. They showed that women that have elevated levels of melatonin are the least likely to get cancer, even if they have a genetic predisposition to get cancer. And women who have suppressed levels of melatonin are the most likely to get breast cancer, even if they do not have a genetic predisposition. And the reason, the connection, is the antioxidant called melatonin and its ability to put you into deep, powerful sleep when your body fights that. So you have to know that science has proven that when you're sleeping, cancer cells go to sleep, and then your body can fight against them. And when you're awake, cancer cells are active. They're awake also. So it is during deep sleep that your body goes to war against cancer cells. And that is why people who don't get deep sleep are the most likely to get the breast cancer. You understand?
Wow.
So that is a single product, and it gives you the equivalent of 7 servings of fruit a day. And it's in 1 ounce of liquid. It is the most potent single fruit on the face of the earth. Now, in addition to that, we give you a protein. Now, this protein is phenomenal. It's vegan. It's non-GMO. It is in the physician's desk reference because it has the ability to tighten up your skin. Remember the guy I told you with the tight skin? This is the stuff that makes your skin super tight. It creates an elastic, elasticity. That word is not easy to come out. I'm sorry. It creates an elasticity. I still can't say it, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And that's like wearing something with the pants that squeeze you, like Velcro, right? Or not? What is it called? The yoga
spandex,
pants.
like spandex.
Spandex. There we go. It makes your body like spandex. It turns your skin into spandex, and your skin starts squeezing in on your muscles, and it just feels amazing. And I know that most people have that extra skin on their body. Like, I don't have any extra skin on my body. Any place that I squeeze my body, I could barely grab an inch of skin, and that's because this product is so good at tightening up the matrix of your skin. But it does something else. It is clinically proven to put muscle on people who are in comas and who are paralyzed. That's why it was created. It was created so people don't die of muscle wasting. Muscle wasting, if you're in a coma or if you're paralyzed, you will die because your muscles will stop pumping capillaries through your body and your body will shut down. You have to have muscles to push capillaries. Your heart isn't strong enough to push all the blood through every region of your body. You need your muscles to help. And if you don't have muscle, then you die. And so in order to keep people who are paralyzed and in comas from dying, they created this pre-digested vegan protein that they would put into a tube. And literally, there are stories of people having 6-packs while they're comatose.
Wow.
Yeah, because this protein works that effectively. And so when you're taking it during this period, you're taking it, you're tightening up your skin, but you're also building your muscles. And when you're building muscle, it burns fat. 25% more fat is burned when you're building muscle than through other activity, through other metabolic activity. So muscle building activity is going to happen naturally, even if you're not exercising, by taking this protein. It is not a joke. It's not like some late night infomercial, like build muscle while you sleep. That would, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then again, you build muscle while you sleep. So, I mean,
it is what it is.
But that is exactly what it does. But it's not like it's because it was created for those people in comas, because it was created for people who are comatose. It's not because they wanted to create muscle while you sleep. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What is its source? Like when you say it was created, like how?
So we use non-soy legumes.
Okay.
And then we use enzymes, and the enzymes are catalytic, so they're able to separate the proteins.
Gotcha.
And then a scientist created a pattern. It's called the master amino acid pattern in the physician's desk reference. And that pattern is the pattern that your body uses to make muscle tissue. And so this protein doesn't go through your kidneys or your liver. And that was the next thing I was going to tell you. If you're on dialysis, this is the only protein you could take, because it does not go through your kidneys. And so we are getting a world-class pharmaceutical grade vegan protein that is completely natural. And those two things usually don't exist in the same world. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So this stuff is amazing. And that's the second part of the 4 items that I'm asking you to take on a daily basis. Tightening up your skin, building your muscle, and feeding your brain in a big way. Not a bad, we already talked about the tart cherry, and I know everybody's digging that because anybody who doesn't want to sleep like a baby, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a big problem. I mean, I think just in my immediate family, my brother, my mother, even my son sometimes having trouble with sleeping. I've been someone who's always slept really well, but it seems like that's almost the exception to the rule to a lot of the people around me.
Yeah, well, you sleep really well because, to be honest with you, you are at a good place with like who you are and what you do. And so they say, how do you sleep at night? And for you, the answer is really good. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So, but let's talk about the next product. And that product is called the Power Shake. Now, the Power Shake is actually an agglomeration of 5 different supplements that I used to tell everybody they had to take, but they had to open up 5 jars and mix a tablespoon of this and a teaspoon of that. And you know what I mean? And 2 tablespoons of that. And they're like, Dave, like, this is really lame. I don't want to do this anymore. And so I'm like, okay, I'll pre-mix it for you. So what we did in the Power Shake is we put the single most potent food on the planet called spirulina. Spirulina has more nutrients. It has the same omega-3s that are found in salmon, but it's vegan. And we know how important that fat in salmon is to us.
Yeah, everyone's heard that.
It has an incredible array of carotenoids like beta-carotene, alpha-carotene, zeaxanthin, lutein. When you look at the commercials of those multivitamin supplements they give you for your eyes and your heart, this actually contains all of those nutrients naturally.
Wow.
But it's also 60% pure vegan protein with all of the branched chain amino acids that actually activate your immune system, your brain function, neurotransmissions. And check this out. The outer shell of spirulina is pure glycogen. Pure glycogen, the fuel, ATP, so it's instant energy for the body, but without any jitters. So it's an energizing. It has the B vitamins, all the, A, B, C, D, E. It's just an amazing multivitamin, multi-fat, multi-protein. And it has this blue pigment called phycocyan. And this blue pigment is unique because it absorbs a certain band of sunlight that no other plant on earth absorbs. Wow. And in studies done at US, what's in Sacramento? What's it called again? I can't remember the university. Darn, it's skipping my mind. But in studies done at a major university, it showed that after just 10 days of taking spirulina, that the body starts producing more gamma interferon, which, as you know, heals the liver, helps the liver regrow. Excuse me, now I'm getting so excited. But it helps the body boost its cancer fighting immune response in the ready position. So if you don't have cancer, you got like cells, bodyguards just sitting there waiting, going, come on, try to grow. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So you have interleukin, gamma interferon, both naturally being produced in the body only because of this blue pigment that absorbs this incredible part of sunlight that then stimulates the body to do something really, really important and really, really good. So spirulina is mixed with wheatgrass juice, is mixed with broccoli juice and carrot juice and stuff from, like we're talking all the green vegetables from the field and all the awesome, greens are all in there. But in addition to that, we put something really magical. This stuff is incredible. Imagine you have brown rice and you steam it in like a Japanese rice cooker. And when you're done at the top, there's like a pancake of gummy, like sticky stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's the best part of rice, and nobody eats it.
Wow.
That is called rice bran soluble. And those soluble part of rice, because remember, ancient man couldn't digest rice. The outer part of the rice would just melt off with enzymes. The rest would just pass through like fiber, right? Because they weren't cooking it or anything. They weren't, if they did cook it, they didn't know how to crack it. So the bottom line is rice was never a nutrient source as we think of it now. It was only a source of these phytochemicals. But the bottom line is rice bran solubles is scientifically proven to increase a hormone that most of us never knew we needed and never even heard about. Could I tell you about adiponectin?
Please. Oh, this is the one that jumped out at me, I think. This is the one that helps you, the skinny hormone. Is that right?
That's right. It's the skinny hormone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell a story, and I hope that you don't mind. So imagine that we're a nomadic tribe and we're looking for food and we can't find it. So we start climbing hills, we start climbing trees, we start, walking further distances. In effect, we're burning more calories, but we're consuming less. And our body senses that. Our body says, wait, you're consuming fewer calories, but you're using more energy. I have to compensate. So the body has a hormone, and it's the opposite of insulin. See, insulin's job is to help the glucose in our body stay in our blood so that we could use it so it doesn't go away. And if we're lucky enough to have too much glucose, then our body uses another hormone called adiponectin to take the extra glucose, to take 3 glucose together and make it into a fat. And so adiponectin is nothing more than a hormone that takes extra calories and turns them into stored calories called fat. And that fat is stored around your midsection so that when you need it, you could quickly burn it and create the energy that was stored to use. Right. Now, in ancient times, this was very useful to our survival. But if you fast forward to modern times, we have a real problem.
Yeah.
People try to lose weight by exercising more and eating less. And when that happens, immediately their body says, wait a minute, I'm an ancient paleo man and I'm exercising more and eating less. I better go into my defensive mode. I'd better begin to store fat more efficiently and to use calories more efficiently as well. And there's a hormone, a stress hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is something we've all heard of, but cortisol is what triggers our body to go into that defensive mode and to start getting more out of every calorie so that we could have extra calories to store as fat. So if the thing that you're doing to lose weight is to exercise more and to eat less, you're actually going to ultimately gain weight and you're going to put your hormones way out of whack. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It explains a lot, actually.
Yeah. So what we do is we actually feed you the rice bran solubles, which is clinically proven in only 90 days to increase adiponectin levels by 45%.
Wow.
Now, the difference between an obese person and a skinny person is a 45% difference in their cortisol levels, which means in only 90 days, we could give you the skinny hormone activation you've been wanting for years.
Wow.
And this is just one ingredient in the Power Shake, in addition to the spirulina, in addition to the wheatgrass, in addition to this is all organic, by the way. And then we give you one more thing in this same super meal, in the same Power Shake, which is a super meal. In that same thing, we give you the beta glucan super slow burning gummy carbohydrates, not fast burning empty carbohydrates, super slow burning gummy carbohydrates, the ones that stick to your intestines and slowly feed glucose minute after minute hour after hour, so that one meal sustains you for 2 to 4 hours. Whereas typically it's in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so all of these ingredients are in the Power Shake. And you're going to take that once a day. You're going to take the protein once a day. You're going to take the cherry before you go to sleep. How simple is that? And then there's one more thing. And this is a big, big thing, you guys. This is the solution to the biggest problem facing Americans today. And I'm going to say that again. We're about to talk about a true, clinically proven, natural solution to the biggest problem facing America today, but America doesn't even know the problem exists yet. And so this is a huge thing. And when you're ready, we could dive into that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So around 1980, the agricultural companies introduced a chemical called a herbicide. And an herbicide's job, as its name implies, is to kill herbs or weeds.
Right.
And when you're growing corn, you don't want all the weeds to grow because they want the water. You water and everything else grows except for the corn.
Right.
And so typically you would hire people and they would walk through the fields and they would pull the weeds, and that would allow the corn to grow.
Yeah.
But people don't like to hire immigrants. They don't want, to have those people in our country.
Right.
And so they wanted chemicals to do the job of people.
Right.
And so this was based in racism. I just want to make that really clear.
Right.
And so they wanted a chemical to do what the Mexicans used to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so they created this chemical that would kill everything, but it was too good. It killed the corn. It killed the soy. It killed the wheat. It killed everything. So they created something called genetic modification. And they actually took the genes from a plant or an animal, and they put it into another plant that it was never meant to be there. And that's called genetic modification. And that would make not another plant. They would put an animal gene into a plant, and then it wouldn't die because the herbicide was meant to kill plants. And if there was a gene in it that wasn't a plant, then it wouldn't die.
Right.
So genetic modification was created so that this herbicide could be used and they could save money from having to hire people, as temporary farm labor.
Wow.
Well, it worked so well that they began to use it, and they would genetically modify grass seed and then tell you that you have to put Roundup on your lawn and only grass would grow. And everybody did it.
Yeah.
And then they used it in schools, in public housing. They started killing all the weeds on the side of the road with Roundup. They started killing all the weeds everywhere with Roundup. If they wanted a bare field, they didn't want to keep having to pay people to come clear it. They just spray the whole lot with Roundup.
Yeah.
And now there's Roundup everywhere. The problem is that Roundup is so toxic that it has the potential to harm the human body in 1,000 different ways.
Wow.
And while it may not have been unequivocally scientifically proven, there's a chart that will blow your mind. It shows the amount of glyphosate used in the United States and the increase.
That's what Roundup is, right? Glyphosate. That's
right. Roundup is glyphosate.
Yep.
And it showed this chart, and it showed the increased use of glyphosate. And then they showed the increase of autism, the increase of Alzheimer's, the increase in autoimmune disease, the increase of cancer of the liver. And they were identical.
Wow.
And so you can't tell me that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
And so I have really incredible news. There's a series of ingredients that I have been taught about over my years of gaining experience in this field. And as you know, as I think I told you, I formulate for over 300 companies. I've formulated over 1,000 nutritional products. I've worked with cancer treatment centers, diabetes centers, obesity centers. I've worked with the Army. I've worked with foreign governments. I've worked with royal families. I mean, I know what I'm doing when it comes to nutrition. And I was blessed to have these 4 ingredients put into my lap And the combination of these 4 ingredients is the solution. And I did double-blind clinical placebo-controlled studies in the United States, preclinical trial, and showed that we could eliminate glyphosate from the human body. Nothing else has been effective in doing it. Nothing else has been effective in doing it. And when we have glyphosate in our body, some terrible things happen. And let me explain what that is. Glyphosate destroys our gut microbiome. Our gut microbiome is considered our second brain.
Yeah.
And our second brain controls our mood through serotonin. So if you've been feeling depressed and unable to get over your blues, it could be because you have glyphosate, and I want to help you. If you have leaky gut syndrome and you have an autoimmune issue, more than likely it's because your gut microbiome has been destroyed, and I want to help you. If you have these conditions, so many conditions that might be caused, whether it be chronic pain, depression, whatever it is, this product is going to repair the gut. So let me explain in one very quickly. 70% of the immune system comes from the gut microbiome. 70% of neurotransmissions that direct traffic in the body come from the gut microbiome. 70% of the serotonin produced in our body, which makes us either happy or sad, is produced in the gut. So if your immune system is down, if your mood is down, if you find that you're suffering from these issues, my guess is it's because of your gut.
Yeah.
And there's one last thing I want to share. Everybody knows in the medical community, they are not aware of glyphosate. I could almost guarantee it. But you know what they are aware of? They're aware of something called C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is the number one biomarker for cardiovascular disease and other things that literally kill us. And C-reactive protein is something that can only be reduced effectively medically through something called chelation therapy. Chelation therapy takes 6 months or more, costs $10,000 or more, and reduces C-reactive protein by 30%. Maybe a little bit more.
Wow.
Our product is clinically proven to reduce C-reactive protein by 75% in only 6 weeks.
Wow.
This is a miracle. There's not anybody who has a blood test from their doctor that does not have C-reactive protein circled as something that you want to reduce. Nobody. All adults in America have high C-reactive protein.
Wow.
And so most people's C-reactive protein, it's supposed to be below 2. Most people's is 5, 10, 15. I've seen people at 70. And they're just waiting to die.
Jeez.
So again, I'm willing to address the greatest problems facing America, the world today. Obesity is one of them. Depression is another. And obviously, we are ready to handle both of those head on right now with the greatest solution. And then glyphosate toxicity is a third. And we're ready to take that on right now in the biggest way. Wow. And this all happens with just 4 products, you guys.
Yeah.
This all happens with just 4 products and 5 minutes a day. And I think it costs somewhere between like $5 or $6 a day, maybe. Yeah. Something like that. And again, with most people making $15 to $30 an hour, we're talking about somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes of your daily effort to change your life forever.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why someone wouldn't do that. But I also want to say one other thing, and I hope that you don't mind.
Not
Every
at all.
person who's listening right now is going to have the ability to participate in something really powerful. And I want to help make that easier for you. And so when you begin to support my company, I want to tell you what you're supporting. First of all, you're supporting yourself. You're loving yourself. You're making a decision that you want a better life. Second of all, you're voting with your dollars. You're supporting me and my company, and I'm a very high vision company. I want to end human suffering. We contribute to causes that you would be very proud of. I'm not going to sit and list them all, but I'll tell you that we support women's issues in a big way. Battered women's shelters. We support women's empowerment. Our company has been responsible for moving hundreds of women from poverty into absolute wealth. And we're very, very proud of that. More importantly, I'm really, when you buy and when you support my company, you're also supporting organic agriculture. You're supporting a very, very, very low carbon footprint company. We are the most efficient delivery system of food in the history of the world. And then ultimately, though, you're going to save 15 to 25% on everything you purchase only because of this podcast, only because your host is going to extend to you a privilege of membership that typically, is not free. Yeah. And he's going to give you that discount on these products. But here's the most important thing. I love this podcast, and this podcast does not exist, on bread alone, as they say. Right. And so I'm really happy to tell you that I'm going to be contributing 20 to 25% of all of your purchases to this gentleman to support his cause. And so if you decide to love yourself and to support me and do that, you're going to get rewarded with an amazing discount. My company will be supported, but this podcast is going to be supported as well in a big way. 20 to 25% of what you purchase is to go to support you, brother. And I hope that that's cool with you.
That is super cool. And yeah, I mean, and not only is it what I love about this, and the reason I've, decided to go down this path with you and your company, Purium, is because it's a win, 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 win. I have people, obviously you've just explained, I mean, you put it in the best way possible. It's like, really, can you afford not to, when you look at the benefits versus the cost, right? It's such a small, it's 15 minutes of your effort a day to transform your health and wellness in this way. And, here's the thing, Dave, I've been looking, and the listeners who've been with me for the 3+ years now I've been doing this know I'm very slow to get behind, any kind of definitive product. Or a lot of people come to me all the time saying, Brandon, how can I support the show? How can I support the show? And a lot of podcasters, for example, out there use Patreon, where you can donate to podcasts. And there's people who are making, $100,000 a month and just donations from their listeners. I just have really, this show is so sacred to me. As I even say in the ads that run on it, the one ad that runs on it is with the Gaia Network. And it was the one person that I ever reached out to look at marketing and promoting because I believe in what they're doing. It is the go-to source for consciousness media, online. If it's sort of the Netflix of spiritual content and wellness and yoga and health and all the things. So, that's the
ask a question.
Sure.
If they make that donation, they make it once, and the reward that they get is that you're on the air. That's great.
Yep.
But when they make this donation, they're making it every single time they use the products.
Yep.
They're supporting themselves in a huge, huge way.
Yep.
So I was raised in a Christian household, and never forget the preacher always saying, we need to teach men to fish, not give them fish.
That's right. Yep.
And so think about our method. Every person here is going to get a fabulous discount, but they're going to also be participating in this. Everybody's involved. This is a community effort. Yep. We're all fishing together. We're all eating together. And that's what I really love about Purium.
Yeah, absolutely. It resonated with me as I learned more and more and really looked closely. I've been saying it for several years, and I'm sure I've said it. I probably said it on the show in one of my 700 episodes. But I've been calling in a partnership that is, I wanted to call in something that I can help to give the mother in Missouri, organic food that is easy to take in. I mean, it's so, some people say it's too expensive or it's too hard to get access to, or where I live, they don't have it. Everything's GMO and potato chips and, in the traditional grocery stores. And, what you've done is created a plan for people, no matter where they are, to, for very little out of their pocket, to it's such a supplement to what we're doing on this show, which is transforming people's vibration, their mind, their heart, their spirit. Well, this is the other shoe that I've been calling in. I've probably been saying for 2 years, I want to find the right product to align with that is ongoing nutritional, value for the body. And that's exactly what this is. So what I've decided to do after probably 6 months of considering this even, is to partner up and give you guys a way to actually support the show like you've been asking for, by also supporting yourself, right? Which is the exact formula I wanted. So essentially what will happen is you'll get, as Dave said, you're going to get a discount anytime you use any of these products, and the show's going to get, 20% of whatever you spend. So it's a way to support. And basically, what we're going to do, what I've decided would be really fun is to do this cleanse together. So Dave, you have a 40-day, first a 10-day cleanse.
It's a metabolic reset, man. It's a metabolic reset. You could call it a cleanse if you want. Yep. But over these 40 days, you literally are going to recalibrate your life. You're going to retune your piano. Yep. You're going to restring your guitar. I mean, I can't even tell you how many years you're going to feel flow back into your body. Yeah. It's going to be like, those movies where the vampire drinks some blood and then they become young again, It's like that, brother. I'm telling you, the blood of plants. It's the blood of plants. It's exactly, that's what green food is. So here's what's amazing is when you do this together as a community, we've had this happen together. We've had up to 300 people do a group cleanse together. And it is powerful because the 101 monkey theory, we're all feeling each other. We're all supporting each other. We're all doing it together. So I'll do it with you. If you get a group together, I'll do it with you. I'll do the full 40 days with your crew. And like, if you have
I did not expect that.
No, I want to tell your audience that I've never felt more aligned with a host ever in my history of doing radio, podcast, television, ever felt more aligned with
thank you
a
for that.
host.
Thank you for that.
And I don't feel like I'm a guest. I feel like I'm a family member. I mean, so I want to do this with you. I want to support. I want to get as many people as we can, raising the vibration of themselves, of this planet, of the future of this planet. Because if you've ever tried to be a raw food vegan and spent 4 hours a day and $30 a day and been miserable, no offense, because I did it for years. But I mean, this feels better. It's easier. It's cheaper. It's faster. It's more accessible. It's less alienating to all the people around you. And it's what I did. It's my gift because I wanted everyone to have the benefits of being a raw food vegan. But damn it, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Right. So I created this. Right. And now I've got people who eat cheese in Wisconsin who are healthier than many of the vegetarians I know. Right. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing wrong with cheese or Wisconsin. Just want to go on the record.
Well, that is exciting. I had no idea you would offer to do that, Dave. And I agree. I feel such a resonance from the moment we started talking. And, the listeners know I often view everything from this, sort of spiritual perspective. And I have no doubt in myself that there's a soul contract here for us to partner at this time in our journey to help to, in starting with myself, right? I've been healthy-ish. I've been pretty healthy, but like you talk about that skinny hormone, I get pretty excited because I've always had that little pooch. No matter what, I played racquetball yesterday. I'm pretty active, but it's like I've never been able to get my body exactly like I want it.
You're going to be so excited. You know what the number one thing about Biomedic is that women report is their belly, that gassy little belly that they can never have go away. You know, they're not fat, but they got this little bit of gas in their belly, and women are never going to fart because they're not like us guys. They're not going to let it out. So they're sitting around with that little bit of, but But the Biometic, I know everybody's going, did he really say that? Well, it wouldn't be me on the radio if I didn't have at least one, did he really say that moment? And yes, I did.
I love it.
The bottom line is all of a sudden you got this flat stomach and you're going, what? I didn't do 1,000 crunches, but no 1,000 crunches can keep that little gassy belly, but the Biometic will. And that is going to blow your mind how flat your stomach is going to feel.
Wow. That's exciting. So what I've decided to do, and well, now Dave with me, so to give you guys a little time to order the necessary products to go through the 10-day transformation and the 40-day ultimate nutrition, as it's called, program, and then ongoing from there with the Core 4, is starting on, let's see here, June 4th, Monday, June 4th. So I will, as I begin, I'll tell you guys, share my feedback. Of course, we got the Facebook group. For anyone who's listening and who's not on the Facebook group, it's Positive Heads with an S, and we can all talk about it there and connect there. Those of us who are participating, and it's a wonderful. It's a private group so that you can open up and get personal and all and vulnerable and all those things if you like. But we'll do a collaboration for those who want to take this journey with me and with Dave, and we'll connect each day on the show. I'll be giving my feedback of what's happening, what I'm experiencing. We'll connect with everyone on the Facebook group. And also for those of you, so as Dave mentioned, you're going to get basically 25% off of your order if you use the code POSITIVEHEAD. For first orders, you get $50 off any order of $75 or more, or 25%, whichever is greater. So
Correct.
Yes. So for those of you who want to go down this journey and get the products that Dave just talked about, if you go to positivehead.com/Purium and make sure you use the code POSITIVEHEAD, all one word. We're going to do this. Now, for those of you who, are more of an entrepreneurial spirit, who want to call in more abundance, you can also become a brand partner as well. That's something that we'll be talking about. What I've decided to do is set up a total separate, because that's a whole nother thing, setting up a call on the 25th, so May 25th, at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's 7 Mountain, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And we're going to do a webinar with Tala, Ema. I don't know, Dave, if you're ever around, maybe you can jump on one. I decided we do two of them, one on May 25th and one on the 29th. And for you moms out there, on both webinars, we will be talking about Dave's co-founder, Amy Venner's passion, the Million Mom Movement, which is aimed at getting 1 million moms to incorporate the Purium Core 4 into their family's lifestyle. And, the idea basically is to help create that 100th monkey effect so that moms can be empowered to help shift the tide in our world by implementing and sharing a simple plan to switch their family away from frankenfoods and onto a plan that will actually fuel their families in a way that creates optimum health and vitality. We'll talk a little bit about that as something, it's essentially, you guys look at this social sharing economy, out there with Airbnb and Lyft. If you share your Airbnb codes, you get a credit. Well, you get cash. So, and you're helping people to heal themselves. And Dave, you put together such.
I'd like to just add to that really quickly is I had to decide, how am I going to get these products out to the world?
Yeah.
And I went to Whole Foods and they're like, well, give me a slotting fee and pay all these ads in Women's Day magazine, and then pay the distributor 25% discount, and then come in, and I'm like, well, what are you going to do? They go, we're going to put it on the shelf.
Right.
I'm like, well, how are people going to learn about it? So instead of giving them all that money, I'm giving you a 25% discount, and I'm supporting I'm supporting the person who's actually helping, with that other. So the 50% that used to go to the store now goes to you, and it goes. It's it's the new economy, man. It really is.
Yeah. It's funny. If you guys go back and listen to episode number 2 of this podcast, we're almost to 700 now. And I talk about, my dreams and vision, and it was employing this same system, because I saw it back then in 2010.
Crowdfunding.
Yeah,
it's like crowdfunding for distribution. It's the new economy.
Yep.
And so, bro, you're amazing. I can't believe you kept me on for an hour and a half. That's a really wonderful, gift that you've given to me to let me express myself unfiltered, without limits, without time zones. So you're awesome, bro. Really look forward to hopefully meeting you someday.
I am so inspired by you and what you're doing. And you and I even got into some conversation about how little you take out of your company. I'm just like, you're the real deal, my friend. And it is such an honor to reconnect with you at this time in our journey. And for those of you who want to jump on, so once again, let me give all the links. So if you want to just go and you're ready and you're going to get the product, go to positivhead.com/transformation. For those of you who want to jump on the calls where we're going to go deeper into the products, I mean, there's more we didn't talk about, like your whole, and we'll talk about these on the 25th and the 29th.
CBD.
CBDs, and your whole process for your patent pending process for how you basically dehydrate. It's unlike anything that's been done before, which is why there's so much nutritional value in all of the powders and whatnot. So go for those. If you guys want to jump on those calls, it's positivehead.com/525. That's if you're going on May 25th, 525, right? At 6 p.m. Pacific. So positivehead.com/525. And you can actually register to be on that call. You'll get a link in your email. You jump on and it'll be probably, 100 of us on, at once, but just a few will be talking and we'll take questions and things like that. And Tala will be there. Ema will be there. Maybe Dave will be there if he has some time on one of them. The second time, because I know some people might have plans on the 25th, is on May 29th at 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you want to register for that one, go to positivehead.com/529. And then you can register to be on that call where we're going to go deeper down the rabbit hole with all of this stuff. And otherwise, if in none of those work, you can always drop me an email, Brandon@positivehead.com. We can get you a recording afterwards or something like that. This has been absolutely amazing, Dave. I am once again so inspired and pumped up to work with you on this and to really start my own transformation and to be able to share it with all my soul fam, the P heads, as I affectionately refer to them, as those of you who decided to join in with me. It's going to be an epic journey of transformation together. And anything you want to leave? I do have one last question, but before I go there, Dave, anything that you want to leave off with?
Yeah, what happens all the time is everywhere I go, people walk up to me and they just say, many times in tears, and they just say, "Oh my God, I was such an unbeliever at the beginning, and I waited months before I made the decision to do this, and I don't know why I waited so long. My life has never been better." And they're like, "You saved my life." And I always tell them, "No way, I did not. Rule of 49s, I can't save your life. I can't do more for you than you're willing to do for yourself." I held up a sign, and the sign says, "You've got an amazing, incredible future waiting for you. And I'm ready to help you walk through the door, but you walk through the door."
Yeah.
So you guys, if you're not ready yet, it's okay. I get it.
Yep.
But if you are ready, let's do this, man. I want to show you guys what living really looks like. And I'm not saying you're not now, but it's been said that people spend their whole life pursuing wealth, and then they spend their whole wealth trying to regain their health.
Yeah.
They spend their whole life living for today and thinking about tomorrow, but they never actually live a day at all. Yeah. So they die after living their whole lives and they never lived. And I don't want that to be you. It's never going to be me. I want to share this glorious respect and love that I have for life and for myself with you. And I want you to feel that way as well.
So well said. I have one last question for you, and you've probably answered it in a myriad of ways, but I'm going to give you the chance to condense it to 60 seconds or less. What is the meaning of life according to David Sandoval?
I was at a trade show and I did a talk, and some women were really excited about what I talked. So they went and they grabbed their husbands and they wanted them to meet me. And as they walked up, I could see the husbands hated me because their wives loved me. I could just see it. And so when I'm, oh, you're the guy who knows everything. And I'm like, no, I don't know everything, you know? And he goes, oh, well, and then he answers his own, oh, well, if you know everything, then what's the meaning of life? And I said, well, I thought you were going to ask me a difficult question, you know? And he says, oh, you know, I said, yeah, I do. In my world, the meaning of life is, our challenge is to love, to learn, to be loved. And when we learn to love and to be loved, then everything changes.
Yeah.
And so to me, that is the meaning of life. That's the reason we're here.
Wow. You are doing it, my friend. And thank you so much for being and doing what you're doing. You are truly making a difference in the world. And it's an honor and privilege to connect and work with you and to experience this program that you put together. I'm so excited to go down this road. And once again, one last time, guys, if you want to go straight, you're super excited, you just want to go get the stuff to take the cleanse, the transformation process with me, go through that. Go to positivehead.com/Purium. If you want to be on the calls to learn more about all of this stuff, because we've really only touched on a little bit of it, including the whole, you know, for those of you who are entrepreneurial spirits and wanting to call in more abundance, there's a lot of it to be had. You want to register then for on May 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And for the May 29th call at 6 p.m. Pacific, go to positivehead.com/Purium. So that being said, that's it for now. Thank you so much again, Dave. Until next time.
Pleasure's mine. Remember, what would love do? We'll catch you on the other side.
Indeed. Well, everyone, that concludes this week's interview episode. If you have enjoyed this positive download from our hearts and minds to yours, please take a minute, give us a rating or review on iTunes, since iTunes is the holy grail of all things podcasting. Your good reviews help us to reach more listeners. Also, we would be extremely appreciative if you would tell your friends and family about the show. Our sincere intent with the Positive Head podcast is to spread positivity to the world because we're selfish, quite honestly. I say that jokingly, but really only halfway joking. I'm referring to the good kind of selfish based on the knowing that we all get what we give in this life, because when we give, we're actually always giving to extensions of self, since we're all really one in the same consciousness, just in different bodies. So if you want to be a good selfish along with us by helping to spread the positivity, by all means, please proceed to shout about the Positive Head podcast from your rooftop. Otherwise, as you continue on your fabulous journey in this 3D reality, be sure to remember this. As long as you ain't dead, you're already positive ahead. Journey well, everyone, and thank you for being.